Welcome to Donnington, where Caterham Racing takes centre stage this week with rounds of the Motorsport News Caterham Roadsport Challenge. There are two specifications of cars. They're split into Roadsport A and Roadsport B, and the A's will be coming up later on, albeit they've got a very wet and slippery track to contend with. The Roadsport B drivers, though, are on the grid for their second race of the weekend. Mark 5G's on pole position, with Richard Carter lining up alongside. They were the top two yesterday when they came across the line, but finishing third behind them was Raphael Fiorentino. And with it, despite having started ninth on the grid due to a brake problem in qualifying, he was able to come through and win the championship. It went down to the last corner. 5G's eventually making his move to grab the advantage away from Carter. Fiorentino finishing third, and he may have lost the race, but he was happy to win the title.
It's a bit weird to lose the race at the last turn, but at the same time, you know, you win something that you were not expecting, which is the championship, so I'm very happy.
The second race of the weekend is about to get underway then. 5G's versus Richard Carter from the front of the grid. And this very full field of cars, 30 of them, is unleashed now. And it's a very greasy track that very nearly catches out Carter, who scrabbles across the front of 5G's then, going down towards Redgate for the first time. Raphael Fiorentino from third on the grid tries to go around the outside. A totally different track they've got to contend with now from that they raced on earlier in the weekend. For the first time then, through Redgate, onto the top of the Craner curves, and now they drop downhill. It's going to be Carter in the lead. 5G's goes second, and Raphael Fiorentino is third. But Carter doing a very good job already. Look, he's mastering the conditions, looking for a drier line and breaking away. Somebody loses it in the background, coming downhill. It's Anthony Sidney Wool, by the look of it, who's gone off. He's demolished one of the marker boards there. He's going to tiptoe his way back onto the circuit when he was fourth on the grid. In other words, fourth in yesterday's race. But now, Anthony Sidney Wool is a long way down the order. In the meantime, the race leaders go through Schwant's curve for the first time. Up now towards McLean's. And it's Richard Carter in the lead. Mark 5G's up behind him in second place. Third is Fiorentino. And then by the look of it as well, you've got Robin Ellis trying to join in this battle for the lead as the cars head now towards Coppice on lap one. After his spin, Anthony Sidney Wool trying to recover. And there are great battles going on all the way through the field as befits Caterham Racing, with 44 Simon Bonham looking to gain ground as well. All of these 1600cc cars then tiptoeing through Coppice. Double apex right-hander. It's a very easy corner to get wrong, and Sidney Wool's lost it again, look. Two spins in half a lap for Anthony Sidney Wool. Another marker board is destroyed as well. This was the first one. Midway through the Craner curves, loses the back of the car. Round it goes, puts him on the grass. He creeps through the marker board back towards the circuit. And then 3 corners later, another spin, and that's going to drop him way, way down the order now. Now up front, Fiorentino is ahead of 5G's now as the cars come through McLean's corner. This is the new battle for the lead, with there in third place Dean Wilkin, Richard Carter having led early on, down in fourth here at Donnington as the Roadsport B's battle up towards the right-hander of Coppice. But the way that he's going now suggests that the new champion, Raphael Fiorentino, might just be able to edge away for another win. 5G's double winner this year, though he gets a better run through Coppice, and he's starting to bring that gap down as the cars accelerate once more down towards the Grand Prix loop then, heading towards Fogarty's. And these conditions, neither totally wet nor dry, are really treacherous for the drivers. They're just greasy rather than wet, and that means they've got to be so careful on the brakes. Certainly coming into the slower parts of the circuit as 2 run wide there. Scrabbling through, Richard Carter is one of them. And the other driver who was slightly impeded in all of that, look, was Mark Blackburn in number 66, but he gets the inside line. Now there's more contact there. We've lost number 20, which is Ben Tompkins. And 44 is the other one, Simon Bonham, who we've already seen once in the race having a moment, but they're getting back onto the circuit. Simon Bonham shedding bodywork, and I think then realising that the suspension of the car is damaged as well. So Bonham is going no further as Mark Blackburn here, having gained a place, swings his way through the left-hander at Goddard's. The race leaders come up over the line. It is the new champion, Raphael Fiorentino, the Franco-Italian, in the lead of the race. Mark 5G's goes through second, and they're starting now just to edge away a little bit from Dean Wilkin, who is in third. In fourth, it is the man that led early on in the race from second on the grid, Richard Carter. But Mark Blackburn there perhaps becoming a bit more of a threat now. Here's the replay. You can see that it's a spin, first of all, for Simon Bonham, and he gets clobbered by Ben Tompkins. And both of them, with not only damage to the cars, but damage to the suspension as well, are going no further. The leaders are starting to bunch up once again. Dean Wilkin now, look, is closing onto the tail of the man ahead of him, Mark 5G's, and 5G's in turn is right on the case of Fiorentino. Having won the championship this weekend, the pressure is off Raphael to an extent. He wants another race win as they're going rather wide and finding all the wet part on the outside of the road was Dean Wilkin. Now, Wilkin's driven well here. He was only on the 5th row of the grid. He started 9th. but he's up now into third place. The cars come down towards Fogarty's once again. Into the left and right, as further back in the top 6 you can see 1 or 2 more shuffles. Mark Blackburn there trying to urge up on the inside, gets hooked onto the grass, slides through, then spins it, round he goes. Everybody misses him so far. 1 or 2 takes to the grass in avoidance, like Phil Howarth, for example, in 54. And Mark Blackburn, having gained a place, loses 2, rejoins. You could see that coming there. He went for a gap that wasn't totally there, got a wheel onto the slippery grass, spun into Fogarty's. Everybody misses him. That promotes Nigel Oven as well there to go through. This is the fight for the lead. Fiorentino ahead of 5Gs as they turn their way now through the left-hander at Goddard's. And they're having to be so careful on the path. They don't want to floor the throttle too early and lose the back of the car. But 5Gs now makes his move look on the outside as they come up past the pits. On the inside then, the new champion crowned earlier this weekend, Rafael Fiorentino, alongside his Mark 5Gs. The Stig, as he prefers to be known. Is he going to be able to go through on the outside? No, he's not at Redgate at any rate. Road registered, these cars. They are standard Caterham Roadsports to go racing in. It's a good low-cost, very competitive category, and a bit of contact possibly there. Fiorentino loses his lead. 5G storms through on the inside. Down through the Craner curves they come. In third place there, you can see, trying to gain ground, Dean Wilkin, and he's taking with him, by the look of it, as they get to the bottom of the Craner curves, Richard Carter. He's in fourth place, but there's just something slightly odd about the way Carter's car is in these conditions. He's certainly losing the pace of those around him. Replay here, Mark Blackburn up the inside, a wheel on the grass, loses traction, loops the car into Fogarty's. He's avoided, he rejoins, but he's 2 places lower down than when he came into the braking area for the corner. Now, Mark 5Gs is getting away by the look of it, in second place, Rafael Fiorentino, but that gap extending to over a second as the fight for third rages on there, with on the inside now trying to gain ground, Nigel Oven in 65. He was 26th on the grid. This has been a remarkable drive up through the order. The early leader, Richard Carter, is ahead of him. And tucked up behind is the mainly yellow car in the hands of Dean Wilkin. A great effort this by Nigel Oven, and the way that he's going suggests that he could gain another place before the end and get himself onto the podium. Richard Carter, early leader, still defending, but clearly he's no longer got the pace that he evinced on the first lap, and he's run a bit wide as well there going into the old hairpin, and that means now that right on his tail, look, going under the bridge then, is Nigel Oven, who is about to make a move, and Carter loses it, going to the left-hander. Slew sideways now. Was that his own doing, or was there a bit of contact? On the wet grass, he keeps on pirouetting, and now Dean Wilkin tries to go for the inside as well. Is he going to grab third? Yes! 3 different drivers hold third place in 3 corners. Mark 5Gs, in the meantime, is on target for a race win. Rafael Fiorentino is going to celebrate his newly won championship with second place, it would seem. And then for third and fourth, as they head now down once more towards Fogarty's, you've got Dean Wilkin ahead of a very crossed-up Nigel Oven. Somebody else in this race that had a couple of dramas early on, remember, was Anthony Sidney Wall after his 2 spins on the first lap. Well, he now has recovered to be in 18th place as the cars head once more through the Fogarty's S's. But very definitely now, Mark 5Gs has done enough to secure a win. He's making his way down towards the Melbourne hairpin. He leads by over a second, and it's going to be the checkered flag for him this time, as meantime there, Dean Wilkin keeps Nigel Oven at bay for third place. The 2 of them tiptoe through the Melbourne hairpin, back onto the power now to accelerate up towards Goddard's. But Mark 5Gs is about to score a third win of the season. He's got 1 more corner to go. There he is. 5G sets the car up, swings left, accelerates now up towards the line, and Mark 5Gs wins for the 3rd time this year in the Motorsport News Caterham Roadsport B Challenge. In second place, coming over the line, is going to be Rafael Fiorentino, the new champion, remember, and Dean Wilkin comes through for 3rd. Nigel Oven will take 4th ahead of Phil Howarth, and then Mark Blackburn, although Fiorentino does do the best lap of the race. He ends up, though, over a second adrift of the winner, 5Gs, and Dean Wilkin keeps Nigel Oven at bay, Oven having carved his way up from 26th on the grid.
Well, basically, I tried something different. I put a brand new set of tyres on, unscrubbed. So I knew it would take a couple of laps to come on. So that's what I was struggling with in the first 2 laps. After that, then I got my confidence up and started pushing. So, yeah, I got a bit of a break going through the Craners side by side with Rafael, but no, I think I drove pretty well there.
Yeah, well, that's what the Caterham racing is all about, I guess. And yeah, it was fun.
I just got a good start. I think I was 5th at the start. Yes, by the first corner, and I was quite quick through Craners, and after that it was just held station at 3rd place.
And in fact, a little bit of a challenge towards the end from Nigel Owen, who had come up from something like 26th on the grid.
Yeah, he was far better under the brakes in some of the tight corners, but through Craners and the old hairpin, I could keep ahead of him there.
So Rafael Fiorentino takes the championship with Amit Patel second, Dean Wilkin third ahead of Mark Blackburn, and Mark Feige's just a point adrift now in 5th place after his recent win here at Donington. There's more action coming up after the break when the Donnington Roadsport A cars take to the grid.